Hi, everybody. It's Mrs. Fox again, and I'm here to share another story. Before I share our story for today, I want to talk about a little object that you see sometimes on a book, and you've probably heard Miss Duggan read this story, Blueberries for Sal. I love this one, but I don't know if you. Mrs. Fox always has trouble with that. If you noticed. I'll put it real close on this. Kind of looks like a coin. That is a honor. It is a medal that shows that this book is so amazing, so fantastic, so wonderful that it deserves an honor or a medal. This is a little picture of it. Sometimes it's called the seal. And it just means that it's a really amazing, fantastic book and that they want to recognize that. So I just wanted to share that with you today. And maybe Miss Duggan shared it with you when she read Blueberries for Sal. The book that we have to read today is an amazing, wonderful, stupendous book written by a Maine author, but it has not received a medal or an honor. So let me share my screen. The story today is called The Circus Ship, and it is written and illustrated by Chris Van Duzen, who happens to be a Maine author and illustrator. So I really like this story. It's kind of silly. The Circus Ship by Chris Van Duzen. Ooh, and that's like a little flyer. The Circus Ship by Chris Van Duzen, author and illustrator. Have you ever been to a circus? I have. 5 miles off the coast of Maine and slightly overdue, a circus ship was steaming south in a fog as thick as stew. Stew. You hear it? On board were 15 animals who traveled to and fro. The next day, it was Boston for another circus show. The captain, Mr. Carrington, was honest and sincere. He thought that they should drop the hook and wait for things to clear. But Mr. Payne, the circus boss, was terribly demanding. He stumped up to the helm, where Captain Carrington was standing, and screamed, "Don't stop! Keep going! I've got a show to do! Just get me down to Boston town tomorrow, sir, by 2. Yikes. Captain Carrington looks a little bit. Then came a crash and an awful bash. Things flew into the air. The ship had smashed into a ledge that no one knew was there. See it hiding under the water. Yikes. The shattered ship began to tip, then sank without a sound. The splashing, thrashing animals swam round and round and round. The captain said to Mr. Payne, "Pray tell, what shall we do? We can't just leave them here to drown. We've got to save them too." "The animals?" yelled Mr. Payne. "Why, sir, what are you, daft? It's me that you should rescue. Pull me up into the raft. Now ferry me to safety, sir, before I die of cold. Don't question me," barked Mr. Payne. "Just do as you are told." Well, let me move that so you can see his face. How does he look there when he's thinking about all the animals? Did you say worried? I think he looks a little worried too. Through chilly water all night long, the animals swam on until they reached an island beach just before the dawn. They pulled themselves up on the shore, bedraggled, cold, and beat, then staggered to the village on weary, wobbly feet. The people in the neighborhood had just begun to rise, and when they saw these animals, they had to rub their eyes. They thought they saw an elephant, but wait, how could that be? And what's that little monkey doing in the cherry tree? See it there? Oop, I had to pull it into the screen so you can see. Here you go, right there. Monkey. There's the elephant. And what do you spy here? Yeah, and here. How would you feel if you looked out your window in the morning and you saw a tiger or a giraffe? Soon animals were everywhere and into everything. There's an ostrich in the outhouse. There's a hippo in the spring. There's a tiger in the tulips. There's a lion on the lawn. There's a python in the pantry. It went on and on and on. Mr. Hood was stacking wood and nearly jumped a mile when he found the alligator sleeping on his pile. And Mrs. Dottie Daly, who grew daisies by the bunch, discovered that the zebra had been eating them for lunch. And Miss Fanny Feeney found, according to the rumors, the silly little circus monkey swinging in her bloomers. But everything changed quickly, like the turning of the tide, the night the Abbott's shed caught fire, with Emma Rose inside. From high above the Abbott's farm, the tiger saw the shed. The sight of smoke and fire triggered something in his head. He jumped through flames 1,000 times back in his circus day. So he ran past all the people and he leapt into the blaze. Then everybody panicked. Help, help, what can we do? When from the raging fire, something big burst into view. It was the most amazing sight, and everybody froze when they saw the tiger saving little Emma Rose. The tiger's risky rescue changed everybody's mind. The animals weren't bothersome. The animals were kind. And so they lived together side by side. They got along. It didn't seem like anything could possibly go wrong. See all those animals there? I'll give you a minute to look at the page. What do you spy? Then Little Red, the messenger, came running with the word. Apparently, a circus ship had sunk from what he'd heard. The animals are from the boat. They swam in from the bay. The greedy owner wants them back. He'll be here any day. So the people called a meeting and they quickly hatched a plan. No animal that came ashore would sail off with that man. What do you think they're going to do? Does anybody have a prediction? A smart guess about what they might do? You might want to pause me and share your smart guess or your prediction with your friends if you're at school, or some grown-ups if you're at home learning from home, or your brother or your sister or your neighbors. Did you share? Good. So let's find out. Ooh, look at how big Chris Van Dusen made the circus man. How does he look? Yeah, I think he looks a little angry and a little scary. He's so big. The next day at the crack of dawn, a ship was at the pier, and up the lane marched Mr. Payne, whose voice was loud and clear. I am the circus owner. My ship sank in the murk. I've come to find my animals and put them back to work. Uh-oh. He hiked until he came into the center of the town. His face was red. He scratched his head. He stood there with a frown. You frown. Mr. Payne looked high and low, but still he couldn't see the 15 circus animals of his menagerie. And you might want to pause and see if you can find some of the animals. Let me make sure, put this in here good for you. They are hidden. That was their plan. So you might want to pause and see what you can find. Let me go like this. Slide on this page for a second, because there's quite a few. And then I'll slide it on this page so you can see the whole page, all of the illustrations. All right. He ran around the alleyways. He searched the village square. He even checked a chicken coop. His animals weren't there. Mr. Payne was tuckered out. His heavy chest was heaving. Then Little Red stepped up and said, "I think your boat is leaving." He ran off in a fit of rage. His ship was leaving sight, so he jumped into a rowboat and he rowed with all his might. Do you know what rage means? The illustrator is giving us a really big clue. Yeah, it means he is super duper angry. And from that day, they like to say, their lives were free of pain. It was a happy, peaceful place upon that isle in Maine. The end. So I hope you liked that story. It's one of my absolute favorite stories of all time. And I hope you were able to find the animals. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for reading another story with me.